Welcome to Throw Off the Lines, the podcast where we navigate life's changes, explore new horizons, and embrace the journey. I'm your host, Stephanie York, an executive coach with a passion for charting new courses on the water and in life. Ready for some total change? Let's dive in. Hi there, and welcome to Total Throw Off the Lines. I'm the host, Stephanie York, and I'm kind of excited and nervous about today's podcast. It is, kind of throwing it all out there. I am doing a what if, why not episode. And I'm going to, based on some things I listened to today and the course my life is pushing me on, I'm going to try to manifest things today. I am working on manifestation. I'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that I do when I can't sleep in the middle of the night, which is definitely meditating, YouTube videos. But when I have busy thoughts, I listen to people who record YouTube videos about manifestation. And I really find that it recenters me because I do work on gratitude. I do work on journaling, and I work on a lot of things to try to get in touch with myself. This has been such a huge year for healing for me. If you've listened to some of my other podcasts episodes in the past, they've been about like heartbreak and effort and just stopping and slowing down, as well as literally how to plan change in your life, which I do a lot with my coaching clients. I'm an executive coach, so I work with successful business people, but I find that more than half of the work that I do is life balance. So I'm not a life coach as much as I'm really tied to their money. A little bit of difference between executive coach and life coach. But anyways, don't want to go down that path. This is about manifesting. I also have an episode on doing nothing. So today, I was listening to an interview with an amazing doctor named Martha Beck, which some of you may or may not have heard of. And I'm planning on getting her book called Finding Your Own North Star. I'm going to download that and start reading it. I think it's very important along the path. She was being interviewed on the Andrew Huberman podcast, which I listen to frequently when I'm walking. He has some very interesting guests on there. And I really liked hearing what she had to say about purpose and authenticity. And I loved what she said about integrity and how integrity isn't necessarily a moral conversation. Integrity is being in harmony with ourselves. And it's the cure for kind of suffering. And I've recently really been trying to get in touch with who I was when I felt I was my best self, which was my late teens, early 20s. I was well-read and really had purpose and drive. I was young. I had the whole world ahead of me. And I feel at that time I was so close to who I am. And I'm trying to find that woman again. And so with that being said, I know that Martha Beck has what she calls kind of the perfect day exercise. And I know, I think it was on Oprah. I love Oprah and a lot of the stuff that's put out, but I'm just finding my way to Martha Beck through a different avenue. And I really wanted to do this perfect day exercise because I do believe that we can say better things to ourselves. A book that I frequently refer my clients to is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. And I have seen it work amazing things in my life. And I love the idea of the perfect day. Waking up, I'm all about gratitude and trying to see the things I have in my life because I actually have more than I need, and I'm very fortunate. And I want to see what more I can do with this. And as I do better in my life, I can then pass it along to my clients or people I touch, people whose lives touch mine too. So the perfect day was kind of about waking up and then visualizing what your perfect day is like. What do you hear in your room? And what are the sounds around you? As well as, what does it look like? What are the senses? What do the sheets feel against your skin? Who's in the home with you? Who are your favorite people? What do you do to build that perfect day and make it a predictive thing that happens for you? So what do you want to hear? You imagine the partner that's going to be next to you, or what dog you have next to you, and emphasize creating that world that you want to have happen. So I love this exercise. I started to do it. And then I realized that this is hand in hand with manifestation. And I could go through the exercise and what my perfect day looks like. But I really instead wanted to really put out there a bold manifestation for myself, because I do believe, and I learned this long ago when I first started to become a coach. Actually, before I was a coach in 2003, I worked at a company called Lone Toolbox a long time ago. And the owners were always doing stuff and bringing in people who were thinking bigger and larger and more. And this kind of goes to Tony Robbins. So they said, put out your big, audacious goals and put them out in front of people. So I know that I have mentioned I want to do a podcast to people, and some people have said, why? And I've mentioned I want to do traveling and I want to write a book. And people are like, why? Why are you going to write a book? Why do you? And I realized that their problem, that they are wondering why I would. I've had people ask me to share information. I've been coaching people successfully. My clients stay with me for years frequently. And oftentimes they say that, my life lessons help them fight through the things that they struggle with. So with all that said, I really don't think that highly of myself. I don't think I'm a miracle worker, any of that stuff. But if I'm going to do this thing, I feel like I should just do this thing. So if I'm asking my clients to start their day every day with gratitude, and if I'm practicing that myself, and now I'm doing this podcast, and I often feel really silly doing it, because why the heck should you guys be listening to me when there's Oprahs out there, or this amazing woman, Martha Beck, Dr. Martha Beck, and all these other books are out there. And then my daughter said something to me that rang true for me. She said, Mom, some people might not hear their voices, and there might be people who hear your voice. And you might be the only person that reaches through to some people who need to hear you. So what you're going to do on your podcast might only reach 5 people, but if it impacts those 5 people, then you will have done what you want to do. And I love helping people and sharing the advice that's worked for others, the advice that's worked for me. So my manifestation on this podcast is going to be, I want to share with you exactly what I hope will come true for me. And this is kind of scary, so stick with me. And today is manifestation day. And I always wanted to travel, and I'm so lucky to be able to do travel and things. And as I go out into the world and I want to do something, boy, you can make it happen. And I've learned a long time ago, be careful what you ask for. I recently really wanted to do the Sydney to Hobart sailboat race. And a lot of people laughed at me and said, you're old, because I'm 57. And they said that's only for young people and you don't have as much experience as other people. And I said, I get that. But then I sat back and thought, why do I want to do that? And I'm not sure I want to do that race. I'm kind of sifting through my relationship with sailing. And that's going to be another podcast, making your dreams so big. But why are those the dreams? And are you fulfilling other people's dreams? Are you wishing for goals and things that you want to do to impress other people? That's a whole nother podcast, I'm sure. Anyways, I'm avoiding my manifestation. So on here, this is August 2024. I would like to manifest that this podcast goes out and I get 100 listeners. That's my goal. 100 listeners of people who are drawn to whatever my message is and my topics of personal growth, personal pursuit. And yeah, at 57, I've lived a lot of life. I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learned a lot of lessons. And hopefully I get some feedback from any listeners and I can respond directly to problems that they have, and maybe we can find solutions to them. But my manifestation is that I get 100 listeners by the end of the year. So I'm gonna smart this, which is measurable, specific, time-stamped. And if you want to know more about creating SMART goals and things, listen to the Change podcast that's posted. Anyways, so I'd like to interview by the end of the year 3 people who have shared their success, how they've overcome something, they've thrown off the lines, and they are living a total life by shaking off a stereotype or busting through a myth or seeing themselves more clearly than they ever had and redefining themselves beyond what society defines them as. And to travel, I want to experience one major travel trip challenge that I can make a podcast about by the end of the year. So I am planning a little bit of travel, but I have some big travel going on next year. But by the end of the year, I want to have had a travel experience. And then I want to have 5 new friends. And I know that sounds silly maybe, but it's really hard to make friends at this age. And I'm relocated to Los Angeles, and I am not permanent here because I'm still traveling and I haven't set down roots yet, but I definitely want to have 5 new friends by the end of the year. Now, in 2025, I would like to have 5,000 listeners by the end of 2025. I would like to have traveled to 5 countries, and I'd like to have interviewed, I'm making notes here, interviewed 20 people and share their experiences from around the world. I know there's a lot of people who get interviewed in this country, but I'm telling you, I go everywhere I go. I meet people who are, maybe they're the core of their family. Maybe they broke out of an abusive relationship and they learned about themselves. Maybe they broke an addiction to whatever the addiction was, and they have something to share. And I never know. I mean, I listened to this interview with Martha Beck, and she really struck me. Right now, I'm on such a personal journey about my life purpose. Pursuing my life purpose is why I blew up my life last year. And it's really hard for people to fathom why I would give up a really cushy life. But you got to listen to my purpose episode. It's going to be about how you can't ignore it once you know it. And I'm hoping to have more friends all around the world and own my own home. I don't own a home right now. And part of my perfect day starts in my bed, in my own home. And there's a cat there because I love cats. I love dogs. I love animals. But I have a cat and I have my own home, and it's probably a sage green bedroom. And in it is, I don't know, just a comfy bed. And I already know the bedspread that I want to buy. It's got way too many colors on it. I might have to rethink it. I found one on Wayfair that I've been in love with for 3 years. Isn't that funny? I already have a bedspread picked out. And in my home, there's arched doorways that lead out into the hallway. And then I have a bathroom attached to my bedroom. And I have a big French door that opens up out into my garden. It's not a big yard. I don't want a big yard. And there's sunlight and there's butterflies because I have milkweed that feed the butterflies. I have butterflies and I have bird feeders because I love bird feeders. I love birds. And I have a little garage, which is going to be a recording studio. And I have a drive that goes out past my gate, and my front yard has it has a garden in it as well. And my front porch is like poured cement. And my perfect day is going out with a cup of coffee, because I love a cup of coffee in the morning, and walking around my garden and going out and sitting in a little pad that I have out there for my meditation, and maybe have outdoor speakers, and I can just put on a Spotify playlist and listen to my meditation, and do my actual meditation, and then go into my studio and then record whatever I'm feeling that day, or invite people over to come and record and talk to me. And that's the beginning of a beautiful, perfect day. I can see my front porch. I can see inside my house. And we'll see, right? I'm manifesting that, my house. And I'm manifesting 5,000 listeners. And I'm manifesting 20 interviews. And I'm manifesting this podcast becoming something. Maybe it's a vlog too, but trying to live a total life that I hadn't dreamed I would have before. So I highly recommend the Martha Beck Perfect Day exercise, and recognizing how manifestation is such a goofy word, but I want people to embrace some of this fluffy stuff. So I'm throwing a manifestation out there, and this is a personal manifestation. I do talk to some very serious people in business. I coach some people who are sales, and they don't want to talk about fluffy things. And I'm fine with that. I love people. I love every personality. And some of those really driven people are my favorite to talk to. And they honestly are some of the most vulnerable under the surface, but they just go, go, go. And when I mention things like meditation, they really poo-poo it, and they just don't want to talk about it at all. And I get that. I 100% get that and understand it. And I can fathom where if you're really busy and you've got bills to pay and you've got kids to feed and you've got a job and maybe you're unhappy with your job, or you got to go to school, or you got to go to school and kids and a job. And you have health problems and you're not able to pay for things. How do you use gratitude when you're feeling that down? And when you can't even find gratitude, how can you find time for manifestation? How can you bring big things into your life? And trust me, I get it. It's really hard. And for a long time, it was kind of a mystery to me. How do I get past the feelings I have about negativity? And also, I sometimes have depression in my life, and my family has depression, runs through my mom's family, the German side, I guess. I don't know, not disparaging Germans, but recognizing that sometimes I have depression, and when that's happening, I can't find gratitude in anything. And what I tell my clients is we don't need to be that Zen Buddhist monk sitting on the mountaintop, doing our gratitude and our meditation and floating a foot off the ground and, manifesting a bicycle and living the secret and all that fluffy stuff. But what I do tell them is that living this kind of life with gratitude, learning how to meditate, learning how to manifest and create a reality so that it becomes real, so it happens, and creating good things in your life doesn't start where, oh, today I'm going to think about all these amazing things. I'm going to have the person of my dreams. I'm going to have a dream job. I'm going to be in love with everything in my life and birds and flowers, and it's a Disney movie. That's not necessarily going to happen, but the only way to make those kinds of changes in your life is to chip away at them. And they do become a muscle. You do get muscle memory. So I have some people who want to work out. And I say, okay, let's work out, but let's first of all go to a doctor and get checked out. And then, go get 3-pound arm weights and find a YouTuber that you can, you find acceptable, somebody who motivates you, inspires you, you like what they're doing, you think what they do is good, and just do 3-pound arm weights just to get upper body strength. Then you're going to start to feel stronger, and it's not going to happen in one day. I mean, I'm 57, so if I want to lose weight, when I was in my 20s, I could just say, oh, I wish I was skinnier by Saturday. If you're skinnier by Saturday by thinking about it. But now I have to plan 2 weeks out because I can diet and exercise. It doesn't show up on my body for 2 weeks, but it will show up. I mean, it's a supreme form of patience because I will work out and work out and work out. And 2 weeks later, I start to see results. So I know if I'm doing the right things now, they will show up every time. So when we talk about what you can do to get yourself into a better place psychologically and manifest for yourself, start thinking about just one thing. Do you want to read more positive books? Do you want to start a gratitude journal? Do you want to feel more grateful about what you have in your life and discard negative thinking? I strongly suggest a social media diet. I just started on my phone. I used to post a lot on Instagram, especially when I'm traveling. It's how a lot of people keep in touch with me because I'll be out in the middle of the ocean on a sailboat for weeks, and I can post generally from there, and people can see, oh, she's still alive, or oh wow, that's what she's doing. But I just got off social media. I put a 10-minute limit on my phone for social media, and it's really helped because then I see, oh shoot, I'm trying to get on social media again. Isn't there something else I'm supposed to be doing? Because I've really been ratcheting up my workout. So when you want to manifest, my manifestation right now is about my podcast, but that in turn is going to impact my whole life. So if my podcast gets to 5,000 listeners and my interviews are 20 people, because I'm meeting the most amazing people, and my travel is to 5 countries, and I have 5 new friends in my life. And I'm not just talking people that I have a cup of coffee with, but people who I get to talk to about my life, people I can cheer for that are also cheering for me. I mean, I want hype girls. I want to be a hype girl to these friends. I want friends that are positive and uplifting because doggone it, that's what I am for them. So if I do all those things, and if I own my own house next year, I'm going to own my own house. I mean, all of that stuff is going to impact every other aspect of my life. I don't currently have a relationship with somebody. I'm not looking for one. I'm trying to heal, which is also a part of this podcast. My marriage just broke up last year, and everything I'm doing is about finding myself again, returning back to the purest form of myself when I thought I was my best self. And so these manifestations that I've put out there, I'm very uncomfortable with them because I feel like it's egotistical to do this, but I'm putting it out there and let's see what happens. And I want to help you manifest something. So vision board, dream board, love it. Now, if you want $1 million, you could put that up on a dream board. You could say $1 million. My goals are not money related, although buying a house is going to be money related. But I feel like if I'm doing all these things that are going to help me make my perfect day, which I've talked about, but that manifest me helping others, that is my core purpose, that I'm going to be able to manifest better and better things. After I manifest these things, I'm going to then work on I'll do another manifestation podcast number 2. And so why don't you pick things, $1 million? Sure. Put $1 million up there. But I also will talk later on about the responsibility of some of our manifestations and requests. That'll be another podcast. Responsibilities. I'm making notes right now because when you manifest and are given certain things, you carry the responsibility of the receipt of that gift. So if you're going to manifest something, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm manifesting, I'm 20 pounds lighter. I'm more fit. I can go play beach volleyball whenever I want. I can go for that 5-mile hike that my friend wants to do. I can travel with my family. I have more energy and I'm happier. I'm manifesting a healthier, more fit me that is 20 pounds lighter and happier and better energy. Okay, great. Do that. I'm manifesting somebody who has a wardrobe that doesn't have junk in it. It's only clothes that fit me really nicely, that are professional and mix and match. And I'm going to manifest getting rid of things that I don't use or wear anymore and going down to just simple things. I'm manifesting a relationship in my life. Absolutely. This is not an anti-relationship show. This is let's manifest what you want. I'm going to be doing a podcast several on dating because I am dating. And some people find it interesting because I throw myself out there. I find it fascinating. Dating for me on online apps and things is a little bit of a research project. So I probably don't go about it the same way other people do, but that's okay. That's okay today. Anyways, if you want to manifest something, let's get it out there. Let's get it bold. Let's make it, I guess 100 people for this podcast isn't very bold, is it? Okay, I want 5,000 people for my podcast by the end of the year. And I feel like I'm being egotistical about this, but you know what? I'm setting ego aside. 5,000 people listening to my podcast. I think my topics might help them. 57-year-old out there dating, trying to build a life and share it, and experiencing crazy things and experiencing miracles and finding people who are whole and healthy. It's happening to me. So I'm just going to be sharing it because there's a lot of hope out there. So if you're going to manifest, start writing it down and saying it out loud to yourself every day. And if it is, I have a job that I love and I paid off all of my bills. I am debt free and I am spending time with my children and I am living a joyful, grateful life. And I'm helping others because helping others is a huge part of my journey. If I can make these things happen, then I can start to help even more people in my life. And I have big, bodacious goals for helping people, but right now I just have to launch the podcast and get this manifestation out there. So my manifestation right now is for my listeners, and I want 5,000 by the end of the year. I can't believe I put that out there, but let's see what happens. And then I want to interview by the end of 2024, 20 people. And then traveling, I'm not traveling to other countries this year because I've already traveled to 3 other countries. So I'm going to leave the traveling to 5 countries next year. And then friends, I want 5 new friends by the end of the year. And owning my own home, I'm going to put that to next year, but I'm going to own my own home next year. And that's my manifestation. What's yours? Let's see what yours is. And then I wrote mine down and I said mine out loud and I'm putting it out there on the airwaves. And I don't know. Let's see what happens. We'll have to follow up. I'm definitely going to do another manifestation episode. I don't know, maybe in a month. And I really hope that you're able to see that manifesting, I don't believe manifestation should be selfish. I mean, I guess mine kind of is. I'm manifesting these listeners, but I feel like if I have listeners there, I'm helping them. My coaching clients go from, having large amounts of debt and they don't have the business that they need in order to take care of their families to paying off all their debt and saving up money to take care of themselves and paying off their mortgages and buying additional homes and putting college funds together and their lives change and they change other people's lives and they hire people and provide jobs for people. I mean, we never know how much we can impact other people's lives. The ripple effect is powerful. So may you manifest for yourself today. I'm manifesting for myself, and I'm going to meditate on this and do gratitude on the fact that I already have these things in my life. I'm going to make this be because I already feel really, really giggly and bubbly inside about having 5,000 listeners. And I'm going to look forward to hearing manifestations that you have in your life. And my perfect day, I can see the bedroom I wake up in. I can't wait to have my perfect day walking out in my garden and my meditation spot in my garage turned into a studio, my driveway and my front yard with the garden and my cup of coffee and my cat. It's so silly. But may you have a manifested day, a perfect day, and may you throw off the lines that are holding you back and untether yourself from that dock and go off the direction you're supposed to go. And I hope you have a total day. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on Throw Off the Lines. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe for future episodes and extras, and leave a review, share it with someone who needs a total inspiration. You can also find us on Facebook or Instagram and our Throw Off the Lines website. If you want to be a guest or have questions for the host, sign up on the website and we'll get back to you. Until next time, throw off those lines and live your best life.